It was a bit of a whirlwind weekend for the Boston Red Sox. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin. The Boston Red Sox successfully hosted the Chicago Cubs this weekend, taking 2 out of 3 games from the Cubbies at home, officially putting them at 16-13 on the season, still third in this division, still a half game out of a wild card spot. But I actually think this was a really important series in terms of games the Red Sox have played so far this year. And not only that, but they also had a lot going on off the field as well. Roster moves and, of course, more injuries, because it wouldn't be a Red Sox series this year without talking about some injuries. So what we're going to do in today's videos, we're going to break it all down. We're going to talk about this latest series, go over the highlights, go over the lowlights, what it means for the 2024 season, and we're going to talk about the stuff that happened off the field as well, the roster move and the injury as well, and how those are going to impact the season on top of it. But before we get into that, do me a favor, make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Don't forget, these episodes are also always available everywhere you listen to podcasts. Link will either be in the description down below, or head over to your favorite podcasting app and look up Red Seat Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so we're actually going to start with the pitching in this series, because that's where the roster move came into play here, and we're going to talk about that in a second, but I did want to start at the beginning, and the beginning would be Kutter Crawford, who looked human for the first time this season. He still managed to go 6 innings, which was great. He didn't walk anyone, which was also great, but he had a lot of traffic on the base pass regardless. 10 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned, because it wouldn't be a Red Sox series without an error somewhere. Either way, definitely not Cutter's best performance of the year. It brought his ERA up to a staggering 1.35, but I'm not really worried about it. There were going to be times where Kutter just doesn't have his best stuff, and he was still able to battle through 6 innings and still only gave up 3 runs. It's not like it was a bad start by any means. It just wasn't what we've been expecting from Kutter Crawford so far this season because of how well he's performed. I still think it's a really good sign that despite not having his stuff, he still managed to go deep into this game. The second game of this series got Josh Winkowski as the starter, who gave the Red Sox exactly what they needed here. 3 innings, 3 hits, 0 runs, and a strikeout. The Red Sox rotation is running on empty here, and basically because of all the injuries, right? They only have 2 actual starters in this rotation right now. Wink stepped up in a big way after a big loss to help this team out a bit, to help the bullpen out a bit. He was a key contributor to the smackdown the Red Sox laid upon the Cubs in this one. And finally, Tanner Houck, who's officially must-watch TV at this point, went 6 2/3 innings, allowing 1 run on 4 hits, did not walk a batter, and struck out 9. I'm not kidding when I say that Tanner Houck is the ace of the Boston Red Sox right now. At the beginning of the year, we didn't even know if he was going to make the rotation. Now he's the face of the best rotation in baseball. It has been incredible, the steps he has been able to take this year. It's so much fun watching him, and I'm at the point now, every time Tanner Houck is starting a game, I'm penciling that in as, hey, this is one we're sitting down and we're paying attention to as much as we possibly can, because we could see something possibly great. Overall, it's tough to complain about anything the rotation's been doing or has done in this series. They still have the best ERA in baseball, despite the fact that they are running with 2 regular starters in this rotation and 3 openers. That's really, really impressive. There is a ton of positive things to say about this rotation, and they came up in a big way for the Red Sox in this series. As for the bullpen, they were pretty good outside of just 2 people here, and this is where the roster move came into play. First one is Joely Rodriguez, who gave up 3 earned runs in the first game of the series and then was promptly DFA'd afterwards, which led to the Red Sox promoting Naoyuki Uesawa, who was acquired by the Red Sox in a trade with the Rays earlier this year. He's been okay at the AAA level, a 4.80 ERA in 15 games with a 4.27 FIP and a really solid strikeout rate of 262 with a solid 6.2 walk rate. He was starting games for the Worcester Red Sox to start this season. He's probably going to be more of a bulk inning bullpen guy for the Red Sox at the big league level, at least to start out. They need the arms throws up there, right? They just need someone up there who can give them innings. Iwasawa should be able to do that. It sort of depends on what that's going to look like. Is it going to be quality innings, or is it going to be sort of, all right, just get out there and eat this game for us? We need someone to get out there and do that. I don't really know. I don't know what to expect from Iwasawa. He doesn't throw heat. He's more of a control guy. We talked about him a bit when he was traded to the Rays. He was struggling with adjusting to Major League Baseball, so we'll see what that looks like at the Major League level. But honestly, I'm just kind of glad the Joely Rodriguez experience ended when it did. I'm glad the Red Sox did not try to drag that out as long as humanly possible. We've seen that in the past a little bit where guys have been struggling a lot and doesn't look like they're going to be able to turn a corner anytime soon. The Red Sox just continue to put them out there in hopes that they do turn that corner. So I'm glad they were a bit proactive about this Joely thing. There was one more roster move made today. Actually, it just happened a couple of minutes ago. It's a bit of a surprise one. It's the Red Sox adding Garrett Cooper to the 26-man roster, which we did know was coming. But in order to make room for him, they DFA'd Pablo Reyes. Now, this is a bit of a surprise because most people sort of assumed it'd be one of Valdez or Hamilton. Bobby Dahlbeck's been playing good enough defense where I don't think it made sense to DFA him at the time or option him at the time. Pablo does make a bit of sense, though. He's struggling mightily at the plate, a 183 average with a 234 on base percentage and just a 217 slug. Good for just a 29 OPS plus, about 71% below league average production. Just not exactly fantastic from Pablo at the plate. Defensively, he wasn't looking that great either, and he was out of options, so it does make sense that the Red Sox decided to go this route. Just a bit surprised they did it when they did, but that's the other roster move the Red Sox made right around 11 a.m. this morning. The other person who did not perform well out of the bullpen this series, and really this season as a whole for the most part so far, was Chris Martin, who gave up 3 earned runs in his outing in this series as well, and almost cost the Red Sox a game. His ERA so far this year is sitting at a staggering 5.56 with a 4.15 FIP. I think it's time to start having the conversation as to where Chris Martin fits in with this bullpen. It appears as though, at least for now, and again, unlike Joely Rodriguez, he's had so much success at the major league level, you got to hope that he can turn that corner. But at what point do you start saying, okay, maybe we go to someone else in a high leverage situation, like an 8th inning with the game on the line or something like that? A Justin Slayton, perhaps, who's been one of the Red Sox best relievers and one of the best relievers in Major League Baseball. Now, I'm not saying to DFA Chris Martin or anything yet. I don't think he's at that point, but it is getting a little unnerving to see how much of a low step he's taken between last year and this year, and it doesn't look like that's going to be fixed anytime soon. It looks like this is starting to become a trend, and I am a bit nervous about what Chris Martin's going to look like throughout the 2024 season. However, like I said, outside of those guys, the bullpen was absolutely fantastic. Another series where they had most of their guys be able to get the job done. Shout out to Kenley Jansen, by the way. In the last game, he looked like the Kenley Jansen we knew and loved, which is a fantastic sign. The offense, for the most part, was absolutely fantastic. This is where the injury comes into play, by the way. We'll talk about it in a second. But after getting essentially beat down by Shota Imanaga, who's one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball right now, they absolutely lit the world on fire. Ceddanne Rafaela had the best game of his career in the game where they just flat beat down the Cubs. He went 4 for 4 in the second game with 7 RBIs, including a home run and 2 doubles. It was great to see him break out in this game. He really needed something like this to get his confidence up. He had a game like that in Pittsburgh where he couldn't really follow it up. In this game, after going 4 for 4 with 7 RBIs, he had a double in the last game as well. So hopefully we're starting to see Ceddanne Rafaela turn a corner a little bit. Tyler O'Neill added 2 more home runs to his season total so far. He continues to just absolutely crush baseballs. He also had the walk-off bloop single in the finale as well. He's just a man on the mission right now, and that mission is to be the best hitter in the AL. Super impressive series for O'Neill and a super impressive start to the 2024 season. Jarren Duran getting his groove back a little bit here. He's still struggling a bit at the plate, but he had a double and a triple in this series. The triple ending up being an extremely important one on the road to the Red Sox walk-off. He also took a really important walk in the 9th inning yesterday too. Hopefully these are the swings that get him back on track, because like I said, he's been scuffling pretty hard lately. He went from a well above average OPS plus to a 98 OPS plus, about 2% below league average production. We need him to be that number 1 hitter that we had at the beginning of the year, and we saw signs of that in this series. Masataka Yoshida had a 4-hit game again in the beatdown game of this series. After not playing for what felt like a month, he looked really good. Unfortunately, this is where the injury comes into play because, of course, Masataka Yoshida gets injured. Why wouldn't he? Everyone else is getting injured. Might as well join the party. His hand got jammed during his second at-bat in the finale, so at the bare minimum, he's going to miss a few more days here. They don't know if it's going to need x-rays or anything like that. We're going to have to see today. We'll get more information about what the injury truly is and if it will require an IL stint or if it'll be kind of like Rafael Devers where it's day-to-day. But regardless, that is now every single one of the Red Sox highest paid players who has missed games this season or is going to miss games this season due to injuries. I've never seen anything like this before in my life. Every single person on the Boston Red Sox right now is getting injured, and now we're just a single month into the season. That's absolutely crazy. I've never seen a team so plagued by injuries in my entire life. You can't keep affording these injuries. At some point, something's got to give here, and this team's got to start getting healthy. It cannot be the entire season that every series we're talking about someone going down. It's really unfortunate that it's Masa, too, who's just getting his groove back. Overall, this might have been the Red Sox best series of the year, though. Anytime you can beat a team 17-0, you did something right? But even in the finale of this series, you were able to get the job done offensively. You were playing station-to-station baseball. Guys were getting on base. Guys were stealing bases. You were hitting each other around, and you were able to get the big hit when you needed. Obviously, the walk-off was the biggest hit of the night, but Jarren Duran's triple was a massive hit that the Red Sox needed and came through. That hasn't been happening lately for the Boston Red Sox, so I absolutely love that they were able to do this in this series. It's a great sign that the offense is starting to get going a little bit. If you can combine that with the pitching that's been really good, it could be a bit of a dangerous team in this division and in this league. I'm really excited for what the Red Sox could do offensively, especially now because you're getting some reinforcements. Vaughn Grissom's coming back for the San Francisco series. Garrett Cooper, who was just recently traded to the Red Sox, should be joining them for the San Francisco series. This offense should be even getting a little bit better, which is a really encouraging sign. Overall, when we're looking at this series as a whole, I think this might be one of the most important series the Red Sox have played so far this year. And I know that sounds ridiculous, and I know that sounds like an over-exaggeration based on 2 good games for the Red Sox, but really break it down. This was their first win against a competitive baseball team. This was their first series win against a team with a positive record on the 2024 season. What this is going to do to a young, unexperienced team is show them that they can do this. Show them that they can compete against winning baseball teams and actually win games, really compete against legitimate competitors. And I know I said compete there a lot, but it's true. They went out there and they played against a team that's fighting for the top of a division that's been really solid this year in the NL Central, and they bested them. They bested them in a 3-game series, and for a young team that really didn't have a ton of experience winning together, them coming out here and beating this team, walking this team off to finish this series out, to me is really important to this team's morale and really important to their confidence, and that's going to be extremely important over the entire season as well. Again, this team, despite all the injuries, despite all the things that we have complained about so far this year, are still competing in the AL East, which none of us thought they were going to do even a couple of weeks into the season, right? They're still 16-13 on the year. They're third place in this division, 3 games out of first place and a half game out of a wild card spot. That's more than I think 95% of people expected out of the first month of the year, especially if I told you were going to be missing your top, 5 players, 2 of them for a very long period of time. One of them just came back in the last series and another one just came back in the last series as well. I think no one was expecting that from the Boston Red Sox, even fully healthy. So for them to do this and beat a competitive team not fully healthy is a really, really great thing. And again, this team's going to get a whole lot more interesting once we start getting these reinforcements. Vaughn Grissom should be back either today or tomorrow. Garrett Cooper should be here either today or tomorrow. It's going to be really interesting to see what this team looks like, not even at full capacity, but like 75% of the way there. If they could continue, like I said, to pitch the way they're pitching and now get these reinforcements on offense and really lengthen this lineup quite a bit, this team could be a lot of fun to watch. And honestly, this series got me really, really excited about what the Boston Red Sox could be in 2024. I know it's just one series, but I do think it meant a lot. But that's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are on this series. What did you think about the good? What did you think about the bad? What did you think about the roster move, the injury? There were a ton of stuff in this one. So let me know all your thoughts on everything related to the Boston Red Sox recently in the comment section down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the like button on this video as well. Like I said in the intro, we talk Sox content almost every single day. Make sure you guys hit the like button as well. It just helps these videos out a ton and would mean a lot to me. Don't forget, also available Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, wherever you get your podcasts, we've got Red Seat Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the Red Seats.